There's two things to understand with the MLS. Number one is the system. Most of it runs through Matrix. Matrix is the largest implementer of MLS data in the US. So nearly every MLS uses Matrix. So I'm going to go into search and I'm going to go full. And I'm going to look at everything that's active that's a single family that has a listing date. So if you look at it, in the entire MLS, there's 1,100. So that's a lot of listings, and it's a lot of actives, right? So you can do it by area, you can do it by map. So let's go calendar. So if I go back to October 1, how many days on market is every unit that I'm looking at?
3 months, 90 days.
Greater
Like
than 90 days.
2 days.
So I just went from 1,100 to 6. That seems low to me, but let's play with it anyways. Let's arrange it by price. Aha. That's the one I'm playing with. This has only been on the market 52 days. Doesn't make any sense. So these are ones that are old and stale. So this is in Henrico, area 40. You don't buy a ton in area 40. Renovated. Probably not a lot of opportunity there since it's renovated at 229. It's over $200 a foot. That's a quick pass. This is a new build. That's a pass. That's a new build. That's a pass. This is in Gloucester. Okay. This is in area 47, King and Queen. All right, Trustee. So first thing you do is you kind of limit it down to where do I want to be. These are areas where I would really like to flip a house. I'm not looking for wholesale. I'm looking for a house I want to flip. Come into here. Look at the results. So we got days on market that are all over the board. I got days on market that are from 1 day to 674. I'm going to reverse search it and come top down. So I most likely don't want to buy something that's over $1 million. So I'm going to go priced under 1 million. That took us down to 136. And where were we a second ago? 149. So we're only losing a couple. Let's leave that up there and see if there's anything worth hunting in the top zone. All right. So let's just go play with it. Let's go to criteria. Let's go to, I got to do a range. There we go. So that's everything that's 90 days or less or 30 days or less. We got rid of all of that. So Amy, I'm going to just stick with it just to kind of get a sense. Usually we don't live at the top end. Like I will do the top end, Eddie can do the top end. For most of us on this call, we want to kind of flip it. We want to go bottom end up because there's a lot more safety there. So this is area 50. It's like a little outhouse. It looks like it's a land play. It looks like they're telling us it's a land play. So that's one. For the sake of time, what else would you guys put as a criteria in here?
Did you put bed baths?
Good. What else?
Footage?
Let's go start here. This is area 50. Do we want that?
But maybe pass it out.
1865. Absolutely not. So there's this one. I don't want that. I would look at this one. So Trustee, we're starting cold and we're doing a bigger area than I would normally look in. So I don't know the data as well as I do if I was going to attack area 20. Like area 20 is my backyard and that's where I hunt. And that's almost exclusively where I buy. So you start to understand these things. That's area 60. It's 1920. I don't want to touch that. This is renovated. Those are good pictures. It's just overpriced. You can tell quickly. All right, this is area 62, Chesterfield. That's okay. Let's go back into here and find one other one, and then we're going to dive down. So let's play with this one. What do you guys think of this off the bat?
Nice. I mean, a brick rancher is always enticing to flippers.
It's pretty straightforward.
Are we going to wholesale this? What are we going to do with this one if this was us?
Yeah, I think it could be a wholesale, but I think it would go either way, just depending on what with that square footage we'd be looking at on the back end if we did the renovation ourselves.
In 2022, what does it cost per foot to build a house from the ground up? So if you're going to include area figure, which means you got to develop it, right? From the lot up, you're going to get closer to 100 to 150. If you're going to go kind of foundation up, we can do it for sub 100, but the rest of the market is going to be north of 100. Why do I spend time talking about that?
Because if you can get it somewhere around that cost per square foot, I mean, it's cheaper, you're buying it cheaper than we could be able to build it.
That's it. So there's a disparity in price. If you're under $125 a foot for a house, there's going to be equity in that deal, because if you can't build it for 125, how the hell could you possibly do anything with it, right? So let's look at our active on Shaw right here. It's been on the market for 25 days. It's 1,341 square feet. So we're at 125 divided by 1,341, which is $93 a foot. Now I see something else that's interesting. There's an 810 here that's also on the market for $75,000 bucks. So this, to me, there's two things here. Trustee, what does it tell you if the person listing it, this is their second picture?
It's just a random upload, or maybe they're trying to convey something here.
They're selling a lot. If that's their second picture, they're priced to sell a lot. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So let's go back into here real quick and let's do a little more data. So what's our highest price? What's our highest dollar figure house around here? Let me go back to my criteria and make sure I got rid of everything else. So they're selling for 220 over there is the high end. And it's got a handicap ramp. So that's your best comp, and it's just okay. I mean, it's like rental grade finishes over there. So if this thing is worth 220, 1,000 square feet, $207 a foot, what is this telling us?
So you can get 207 a square foot for yours if you put, you know, a nice job on the renovation.
Yeah.
Or
Let's look at the math.
A wholesaler could get that.
So I'm at Mile Out now. I'm crossing over one major thoroughfare and I'm crossing over Belt Boulevard. Most likely stuff down here is going to be less expensive and stuff up here. And this is where our subject property is. So let's now rearrange. You can get all the way as high a mile away on Terminal Road for $350. So what I want to look at is this, and let's go out further. We went up to 22 matches and our highest price. So if we go back 2 full years, our highest price is 220. So if you look at Shaw, which is what got us interested in the first place, and you got us on these two. So what I see is that several people are on Shaw trying to sell stuff. It looks to me like we're kind of limited at 220, and this is not an area we do a ton of business in. It's a little broader search than I would normally have looked at. So what I'm coming up with here, can we buy this house, do the work, and get this thing up to speed and sell it for 220? What do you guys think? So if the comp that we saw a second ago is 1,075 and this is 1,341, I would say we can maybe hit 250. Does everybody tend to agree with that? We'd have to go find some different comps, but let's say it's 250. What do we multiply that by?
0.91.
Okay. How much is that going to cost us in work based upon the age?
65.
Yeah, I think 65 is going to be quite high. That's 80 grand. Eddie, does that look a little high to you? That looks a little high to me.
Yeah, I think that's hair high.
What do you think the number is?
Pushing closer to 60, 60, 65.
I was thinking 60. Right. So let's just call it 60. We'll call it 65, give ourselves a bit of a hedge. That's a 162. What do we want to make in profit? If the house is worth 250, we want to make at least 17%. So make 43 grand. $118. Is that gettable? I said, Harry, trustee, this is maybe a deal, maybe not a deal. I'd want to dig a little deeper. I want to see if 250 is a number. But this is absolutely worth spending 15 more minutes on to say, could I do a deal there? And not only could I possibly do a deal here, well, if I'm going to build this one, why not have Eddie build 3 on the same damn street? And that's how you go from doing no deals on the MLS to maybe 3. So if we're going to buy 3 on one street, you and Vince bring us a deal when we have a project manager in Virginia Beach, and you say, I see 3 in this general vicinity, half a mile away. We're going to make a serious investment in that area. I need to feel really good about it. I don't feel really good about area 60 or 50, whatever this one is, because we don't do a ton there. So I went with a really broad search to kind of show you an area that I know how to use the MLS, but I don't know how to use that specific area. And what I see is 3 opportunities that are right there. This has been on the market. This might all be the same seller, 25, 25, 25. They list on the same day. You buy this for 90, 95. You buy this for 40 something. You buy this for 30 something, and you build 3 specs on the same street. That works. Or we call up a builder, a friend of ours at Liberty Homes, who will build a one-off lots and say, I got 3 lots for you right here. That's how you turn that into an assignment. So Trusty, that was blind as a bat because it wasn't what I would do to start. So I'm gonna go into my matrix, I'm gonna go into home, I'm gonna go into search. So this is area 20, there's one up on 3 Trop, Granite, I know that house, Leonard, Maple, Bromley. This one is $370 a foot. Is there a deal there?
No.
If I'm shopping area 20, what's a deal? Who wants to guess what's market in area 20? 250 to 400 is market, right?
Yeah, seems
Yeah.
like.
Sub 250.
You say sub 250?
Yep.
Okay. This could be a
That
deal.
depends, farther out to sub 250, if you're in closer 300 or less.
Look at this one. It's got a funky ass floor plan. It's dated. There's no staging. 247. This is 4800 block of Leonard Parkway. It's been on the market for 50 days. Harry, make a run at that. We could easily punch that up to 350 a foot. At 350 a foot, that's a $599 sales price. There's $103 per foot of margin, which is about $180,000 worth of margin. And that thing doesn't need a bunch. It just needs to look prettier and cooler. That's a deal.
Mhm.
I don't want to touch this, but 246 a foot. It's on River Road.
I was talking about the 3 that you sent me.
I know. I'll come back to you in a second.
Okay.
I'm not touching this one, but that's a deal.
Mm.
When was this listed? 71 days. There's something wrong with it. That's a deal. 250 foot. That should sell for $400 a foot. Yeah, and I'm not touching that either. It looks like the White House. Amy, I'll help you with how to deal with call the seller, see if you can get in touch. It's going to be a negotiation. You're going to have to do something to get it done before the auction. But this is, if anybody is slow or bored or said, I don't have leads, this is an exercise you should do at least once a week. I do it probably once a month, once every 45 days, and I typically buy something. Trevor and I have done this a bunch.